Hi everyone, this is @people here, just doing another video commentary tutorial based on, this time around I'm going to be doing it on the E100 but as a tutorial. The reason for this is simply because there's been an increase of help threads on the World of Tanks official forums, and myself and a couple of the other much higher ranked players who frequent the German heavy tanks forums are kind of getting sick of replying the same stuff to all these questions. So now I'm trying to make a one-stop solution thread for everything in the E100, which will include gameplay strategies, tutorials on how to angle your armor and everything else. So anyway, with this video, the reason why I'm doing this one is, well, it's an infamous map. It's popular in its lack of popularity with the people online. Thing is that it is a decent strategic map. People are just adopting their own strategies for it. One of their own strategies is tier 10 tanks camping behind the church. Guess what, guys? Artillery can still kill you through splash damage there, and I've seen some very high tier artillery do some heavy splash damage. So here we go. Now this strategy is what I basically call the sword handle. It's where you use a few other tanks, a few mediums and a couple of heavies to go up on the hill. You back them up with your E100. You're obviously going to be behind the pack climbing the hill. It's not such a great hill climber, but what it's going to do is the guys up ahead are going to soften up the enemy and kill off a couple of them for you, and by the time you get up there'll be a few tanks left for you to polish off. It gets you a couple of free kills in the game. It also deals another heavy blow psychologically to the enemy when they see the E100 coming up. And the third thing is that you're not going to get hit nearly as often by the artillery. Now obviously the strategy can be countered by the enemy going up through along the side of the hill, not actually on the hill, but I've seen the majority of battles in random, most people tend to fight over the hill or fight along the field and the base. They don't tend to fight along the inside of the hill. So for most of your random battles, this strategy should have a fairly decent success rate. As you can see, I'm taking the route along the border rather than trying to spend all the time climbing up the hill and going past the church. Reason for that is still, once again, gives me less visibility to the artillery until I want them to be shown up on their map, and it means that they're not going to hit me. Sorry about the throat, guys. I don't know what's happening there. It's been a bit dry lately. So one thing to note is that I do still carry gold ammunition. I don't play it often in games anymore unless I'm having a series of games where I'm getting really bad penetration rolls. Then I'll get sick of it and just whip it out, but it's like 1 in 8 games that I may use gold ammunition. So as you can see, the guys are already up ahead doing some damage to the enemy tanks. I can't see what it is at the moment. Let me just try and expand this view in Vegas Pro. Yeah, it's still not showing me, but it looks like it was a Type 59 that was just killed then. Everything's really blurry on this when it's doing the recording, so that's fine. Yeah. So as you can see, as soon as I rocked up, they started backing off really hard. It's just a matter of taking your time now. Even though I got splashed by artillery on both tracks, it's fine. I take my time with my aiming. That IS in this game, I got a little bit pissed off that I only did 96 damage on a penetration. That miffed me off. So, yes, while I do die on this game, as you will see shortly, I don't go down without a big fight. Now, one thing to note with this tank is that it's a support tank. It's got a very big gun that will either do lots of kills or it will do lots of damage. You can choose which you do, but you cannot do both. As you can see, my charging down there had them all on full retreat. My allies coming in were polishing off the tanks that I'd crippled, and well, they're pretty toast now. So this is, in essence, the handle of the sword. Works really, really well. Now, maps to use this on, really you need to try and work this on maps with open fields rather than cities. It's not a city strategy because of the nature of you having to keep moving, and yes, move while you shoot. I don't like doing that very often in my E100 because of the accuracy, but sometimes you just got to do it. You've got to play the psychological game with the enemy, make them back off because you're a big tank that they have troubles penetrating. They're relying on their artillery to hurt you more than they are to try and damage you. So you just got to keep moving, change your pattern a little bit, not so much that you lose speed, because when it comes to ramming, this tank will... yeah, when it comes to ramming, sorry about that, it looked like the recording had paused out. So when it comes to ramming, this tank is the second heaviest tank in the game. I think if mine's sitting at about 155 tons with the spore liner equipped. That means that any tank you ram except for the mouse, you are not going to take damage from them. If they ram you, you're not going to take damage from them. So I've used this strategy and a tiger tank. Against a tiger tank, I managed to deal over 300 damage, plus my 900 damage penetrating shot. I dealt 1200 damage out of his 1450 HP. You know, after that I just left him for another ally to finish off, but because he's toast. And I've gotten the most experience out of that because I did 1200 damage to him. So, you'll see this guy die soon. He didn't quite get the strategy where you got to keep rolling. But that's okay. The other thing you should keep aware of with these kinds of strategies is that you need to have very good situational awareness. You always need to have your eye on the minimap, have an eye out on the screen, see what tanks you're facing up against, because if it's two T30s, obviously I wouldn't be full charging down there. I would be changing my strategy just a little bit and, say, picking off one of the T30s first before charging down. But either way, you need to use your allies, you need to support your allies, and they will support you. Give good communication with what you're doing. As I don't quite do on here, I don't do good enough communication, but people got the gist of what I was trying to do anyway, and they followed through. As you can see, it pays off very, very well. Other than that, well, this is the first tutorial video done. I should have a few more ready, and I'll have them all batch uploaded tonight. So I shall talk to you guys later. Comment, rate and subscribe.